Right there it is. I see it. I got the notification.
Damn.
It still says we're off the air. All right, now we're live.
I kept telling you, no plus, he couldn't hit, he's swinging like a sissy, he's missing, let me see you bust. I hadn't started dancing yet. A tremendous first down and Curry gets hurt. Curry's got done. Taco was done early in the round. Great first round. It's good. Perhaps one of the best in middleweight history. That black guy, he hits hard. Bang, bang, bang. Fire. Y'all been
Going on, everybody. It is Friday, August 25th, 2017, and I am your host, writer-and reporter for RealCombatMedia.com, G.Alé Dampier, and I am joined by my fellow admin and co-host, Lord Julius Fox.
How are you doing, America? How are things? Things are good.
It's going. I mean, you know, I feel like I would just say under this administration, things move really fast, and it seems like these past 6 months kind of move in like dog years.
Yeah, honestly,
I feel like it's been like mad long, and we're only halfway through it.
it really does.
The greatest thing about it though is that there's been a lot of good fights along the way too. 2017 has
definitely
did not fail to entertain us at all. With
Definitely.
the ESPN fights last week, Bud Crawford definitely should. Why not just start out the show with that?
Oh yeah, we can talk about that. I mean,
Bud Crawford taking out Julius Ndongo, a fight that we definitely thought was going to be a bit more competitive than what it was. But again, it always seems to be safe to go with Crawford every single fucking time. It's like you see a certain challenge on the horizon for this guy, and he comes up big with like over expression. Like the expectations just are totally exceeded.
that's true. I mean, he won the fight, and most of us said it. He won the fight the way we thought he was going to win the fight. He won the fight behind shorter punches and counter punches because Ndongo swings so wide. But I thought he was going to win a decision. I didn't think he was going to put that guy away like that. He put him.
No.
He wrapped his ass up like a gift, like it wasn't nothing. 3 rounds. What was it? 3 rounds?
Yeah, it was about the third round. Terrence Crawford ended Julius Ndongo, who made pretty. I mean, it was entertaining while it lasted. It's not like not like totally disappointing at all, with the domination that he gave. But still, I mean, Julius Ndongo, he came right at him just like I expected. But that only gave Bud Crawford more opportunities to land in between.
Well, that was the conversation that we had. That if we knew Ndongo's gonna bring the fight to Crawford. Like Crawford's like why the fuck would Crawford bring the fight to him? And Ndongo, he stayed in character. It's just a damn dog. Like, and the funny thing is, when the actual when he actually got the knockout, it looked like it was a right hand, but it was a really short, really compact left hand. That was the punch that put him down, and then he just followed up with a right to the body. You didn't see it at first, as it happened. You had to go back and watch that shit. Like, wow, dog, like he just dug right to the body and put him away. And it seems that George Ellie Dampier has disappeared. I have no audio from George. Where is George? Not sure. I don't see George. I don't know what's going on. There's George.
Damn it. That was
Yeah, there you are.
frustrating as hell.
There you
I don't know
are.
what the hell's going on.
It's the Mayweather McGregor fight. Don't even mind it. It's the Mayweather McGregor. Just blame it on Mayweather and McGregor.
Pretty much. All right. So
It's their fault.
what I cut it out with, what the hell were we saying? Bud
We were
Crawford.
talking about Ndongo Crawford. Nice, very nice, compact left hand that put Ndongo away. It wasn't even a right hand. It was a left hand.
Yeah.
Body.
Snuck it right in between of the same from his, what was it, right hand, or was that his left hand that he was coming across with?
Yeah, I think that was his right hand. He was
coming across with the right, and I mean, just before he even could get it across his body, snuck it right there under the rib cage, or just right under the chest.
And it was a thing of beauty, though. It was a thing of beauty because Crawford is one of the most compact punchers. Him, Mikey Garcia, these are very compact, very tight. You know, all their punches are very short. They always find a home. They always have a purpose. A lot of guys out there, they don't necessarily do it that way. And you know, a lot of guys like Keith Thurman, you know, a lot of guys like even one of my favorites, Errol Spence, he doesn't do it quite that way, where it's real sneaky, it's real sharp, and it's real short. And it's not even speed so much as it's just a very well-placed, well-timed, and well-delivered punch.
He's definitely, well, here's the thing I wanted to talk about though, the most from this, because it really just cracked me up. And of course you even played a part in it with almost how meme worthy it was of afterward, you know, Bud Crawford gets, you know, his interview with Andre Ward, who did a pretty good job commentating. I think he's really going to have a good crossover in careers with commentating. He does a really good job doing that. But he was on staff with Teddy Atlas, who of course they pull up his pound for pound page, which is again the reason why I don't ever have these fucking debates with anybody, because in the end it's all objective. Even the most prestigious ones we order, they're
there's nothing
subjective. Yes, I'm sorry, subjective, but they're totally subjective to everyone has their own takes on it. Like what I was referencing was, you know, Bud Crawford and Andre Ward, I guess, looking at Teddy Atlas as he's, I guess, describing who is it, his pound for pound, or did that just come up as they were just interviewing him?
No.
If they
He said it.
He told them.
And look, I mean, I would agree with you to a degree that in a lot of ways the pound for pound list is subjective, but it's objective in what it's trying to do. Everybody's pound for pound list, if it is the pound for pound list, it's trying to encompass who, devoid of weight, is the best fighter.
And that's in the end. And in the end, that's all it should be. I honestly feel like the pound for pound debate should be like, who is number one, period. No, who's 2, 3, 4, 5.
Well, you know,
as far as the matter of who's going to take who.
That's really for the fans, because there are very special fighters out there, very special fighters, and they deserve some recognition. There should be, you know, who's in the top 5, who's working their way into the top 5, and ultimately who's working their way to number 1. We should be able to track this progress so that there's a reason that, well, maybe this guy's not the number 1 pound for pound anymore because of this or that. So I don't look at it as being as subjective as some others do. I understand tracking progress and just having an explanation behind it, because the thing is, most people don't want to tell you why those guys are in their pound for pound list. And they don't want to tell you because what they're going to say is, well, I like him.
Pretty much. That's what it all
comes. My favorite.
It's like, yeah, here's a list of my favorite fighters.
That's what it is. And a pound for pound list is not a fucking list of your favorite fighters. A pound for pound list is supposed to be the cream of the crop, the coup de grace. These are the best of the best.
The best.
You got your favorite.
All right.
Yeah. Nothing gonna find you now.
Who's the best pound for pound?
It's not Andre Ward. I'm sorry. Sorry, and they're mad at me. I'm sorry.
Oh wait, you honestly believe that? Oh, so you got Bud Crawford actually having this fight playing out
said
ended up
a
having
long
him number one.
time ago on this podcast, George. You give me 175-pound Terrence Crawford. You give me a guy that beats Andre Ward.
You might be on to something there. I can't necessarily say I could disagree with that.
I
That's
swear to God.
most
Look
likely
at Terrence.
true.
Look at forwards, backwards, sideways, orthodox, southpaw, offensive, defensive. Where are the holes? The only thing I hear about is how Gamboa pieced this guy in the fight. But you look at his trajectory, every fight that he's had, he just keeps getting more and more and more dominant. I mean, he wrapped up in Dungo in 3 rounds, dog. 3 rounds. He beat the living shit out of Felix Diaz. We thought Diaz was going to give him some problems.
Yeah.
He beat the living shit out of him. Ibn is experiencing memory loss because he said that Postol was going to give him problems. Postol didn't give him problems.
Yeah.
It's for
That was
reasons
another
like
one.
this.
That was the first scoring.
Yeah. And it's for those reasons that I'm like, yo, this guy's this, I mean, I have my criteria, you know that, and everybody has or pretends that they have criteria. I actually developed criteria for mine that way. Guys like Jeff Horn, they get recognized.
Jesus.
Yeah, he did something, the kid. He did. He really did something. You can't get mad at him now. Don't get mad after the fact when you legitimize the victory and agree with it. Kid deserves a spot.
That's really what it all comes down to for me. Like, I could care less whether he's in or not. I mean, if you believe, that's what I'm saying. If with the pound for pound, that's really the true indicator. If you really feel that the legitimacy of that fight or the result of that fight was what it was, then you gotta respect it too. As far as the result, which is Manny Pacquiao was the number 5 pound for pound fighter.
Yeah,
I would say at least around that number 5.
Around there to me, he was number 6 on my list. How do you ignore Manny Pacquiao's career? Come on, dog. Like, it's a lot of people that do this shit. And I'm not even a Pacquiao fan, so I shouldn't have to argue in his favor. But you can't ignore this guy's career, dog. Get the fuck out of here. Like, come on, dog. Manny wasn't a pound for pound, really. So what was he then? If he wasn't a pound for pound fighter, who was? Rigo, right? I bet you're gonna say Rigo.
Well, speaking of Manny Pacquiao and as a possible opponent, Terrence Crawford was quoted coming out of this whole event through Saturday, complaining about that he felt that the coverage with him was different in the past than the past too. Obviously, he's hinting at something, maybe favoritism, I would say, at the very least, racism at the very most.
Well, George,
does he have a point
about that? How do you feel about that?
I don't necessarily know. I mean, if I feel like he may be in reaction to his reception among probably the commentary, which is probably more or less just Teddy Atlas that he has this issue with, I feel like. Joe Tessitore, he's, for me, as through all of commentating, probably for me the least, or at least the most forward guy. No real favoritism. He spices up anything that he paints or portrays whatever he needs to for what's in front of you.
That's true. Joe Tessitore calls it down the middle more than anybody, and more than Max Kellerman even.
Yeah, because and the good thing about it is that's not his job. He's not the color commentator, but he can still be that that persona for the camera to still sell a fight or still spice up something. I feel like he would almost be an understudy to what Jim Lampley does. Yeah. So, but he actually does a pretty good job of his own. It's a good resume for that. But no, I don't feel like that was any type of favoritism or worse treatment than any of the past 2 fights. I thought. But then again, I didn't have much of the sound on, but figured. I heard most of it. I don't know. Maybe it's just not sticking out in my head. But I didn't notice anything that stood out to me from the past events. So I can't say that I necessarily agree with what Terrence Crawford feels that he's going through.
Oh well, I'll be honest that for me it's a bit of it's a bit of a reach because when you hear a statement like that, you know, the coverage and all these different things, you got to realize something. Manny Pacquiao versus Jeff Horn, right? That was an event. It wasn't an event to Americans who are the ones who have the most shit to say, but it wasn't an event to us. But where it was, you know, where the fight actually was, it was a very big event. It was a very important fight. It was a hometown hero. And Americans don't want to understand that shit. That like, look, dog, what happens here isn't the end all and be all. It's the same shit as Klitschko in the heavyweight division. The heavyweight division was thriving in other places, just not here. So it didn't die. It's just that we didn't have a pony in the show. And in this instance, when I see Crawford saying this, I'm like, they didn't necessarily treat you different. It's just that you had a Filipino fighter, you know, Manny Pacquiao, for example, Filipino fighter, very big following in America and in his own country. And then you have Jeff Horn, who, you know, his own country, they came out to represent him. 50, what was it, 50,000 fucking people?
Yeah.
It was like 50,000 fucking people, dog. So when you have two guys that, you know, they can sell some fucking tickets. And it sounds strange because, yeah, we're talking about Jeff Horn, who isn't anywhere near as skilled as Terrence Crawford, who really isn't, you know, I don't even feel he belongs on my list, but mine has rules, whatever. It's about the tickets. You're talking about, you know, broadcasting, networking, reactions. Well, that boils down to marquee value, you know. And if Americans if Americans feel slighted at the treatment of Terrence Crawford, then they need to support him. And we talked about this on the podcast.
Yeah.
You need to support him the only way you're supposed to support him. Go out and buy his fights. If y'all gave a fuck about Terrence Crawford, that pay-per-view would not have done 50,000. It would have did well over that because y'all would have been holding him up. Y'all would have been holding him up and holding him down.
Absolutely. And what I feel like maybe what he's feeling out of those two events, that he's taken out two different circumstances where I feel like he's trying to. I feel like he's maybe taken his emotion from the results of what happened, whereas the Pacquiao fight, big upset, huge breaking news. Everyone talked about it on Sunday. So that's that situation. Lomachenko, I didn't hear much buzz about. I was actually a little disappointed that more people didn't watch that fight.
I fell asleep.
I was trying to get more. I was trying to actually get more casual viewers to, you know, watch that because that's a great opportunity to see a great talent on free television. And there's nothing really to say that there was a great buzz coming out of that either. He took care of business. I mean, no real breaking news out of that. But in result of that, or maybe, I don't know, maybe I would guess because of the result of that. I'm not sure what Teddy Atlas's fucking pound for pound list was before up, you know, like up to that fight. But, you know, with Teddy Atlas then the week following saying that his number one, maybe that just collectively gave him the idea that, okay, well, there's nothing to take out of this because I'm not number one pound for pound. I, you know, just became undisputed champion, and the big upset that was Manny Pacquiao's loss to Jeff Horn was hugely talked about, and so there's nothing really, I guess, for him to. But I don't think he's. I honestly I can't. I can't. I'm trying to rationalize with what the hell he could possibly be feeling with this situation, but I don't get it. I mean, you became unified lightweight champion that no one has done in like what, over 10 years, we said.
Yeah.
That's big news. Everyone was talking about, even leading up to that, of the winner.
Yeah, but it's because Americans themselves were tearing down his accomplishments due to favoritism. The event could have been bigger. If this would have been in the United Kingdom, this would have been massive. But Americans are mad at other Americans for not supporting the shit. Well, you motherfuckers, half of you motherfuckers are saying that belts don't mean shit. So then why the fuck would this fight mean shit? And then you turn around and you say the Teddy Atlases and the networks aren't giving him fair treatment, but you're not supporting him. All right, you had your chance to support him when he fought Pastel. They only sold 50,000 fucking buys. So if you really cared about this guy and you really wanted to support this guy, it would have showed up in the numbers. I mean, it's that simple. Manny Pacquiao's farewell fight did better numbers than this. You know,
Yeah.
the last pay per view he had, it did better numbers than Crawford's debut pay per view. So you tell me, that means that regardless of how you feel about Pacquiao, he has people that are behind him that are willing to buy his fight, and that's where it counts the most. Even if pay per view is an obsolete model of getting off fights, the point is when we compare those things, Manny Pacquiao in what is a boring match that a lot of people are not excited about, still put up better numbers than two undefeated champions facing each other. So if you really, if you got some kind of an issue, your issue is with fans. It's not even with the networks. It's
Yeah.
with fans that are not supporting him, that are not buying the fight. Because the networks can't make you buy the fight. They can't. And you can't say that, oh, well, a lot of people didn't know about it when you have boxing groups that consist of 100,000 people, 50,000 people, 10,000 people. Everybody knew about the fight, but everybody didn't buy it. So
Mm-hmm.
then what the fuck do you want then? At the end of the day, if you care about the fight and all, you going to buy the fight. You're not going to be on Facebook watching that shit. I know that. And a lot of motherfuckers, I mean, let's be honest. Let's cut the crap. A lot of motherfuckers is on Facebook these days watching these fights. So much, ain't nobody supporting the fight. What are you talking? Well, you not either.
Watching that shit on the J Flash drive.
If
Flash.
you ain't on the J Flash, you on the Ray Walker on Ray Walker TV. If you ain't on Ray Walker, you know what I mean? Like, let's keep it a bean, dog. Keep
Damn
it a
shame.
bean, like, and you want. I want to see these guys make money. I do too, but you can't sit there and like, oh yeah, you just gonna catch streams and complain about what other motherfuckers is. Come on, dog. Get out.
Exactly. We talk. Remember, we've had countless discussions about this. The same people, like when it came to that Golovkin Jacob situation,
Yeah,
where people kept pushing for, oh well, he should get more money. How come they're holding out? They don't want to pay Jacobs what he's worth for the fight. It's like, well, okay, then you do realize that goes to what you're going to need to pay for to view this fight, right?
yeah,
And they'd be the same ones who are watching the fucking live stream on Facebook
yeah.
or fire sticking it.
And they're gonna be fucking fire sticking it and Facebooking it tomorrow. And I'm pretty sure that I think Golovkin Canelo will do good numbers. I think they will because there's a Mexican fighter involved, and Mexicans buy fights. They really do.
Yeah.
That is, I mean, honestly, look at Chavez Canelo. They buy fights, dog. They do. So don't tell me that that's some kind of a slight at anybody else who's not Mexican. All I know is a lot of Mexican fans, they will buy a fight. They will. They have a
Yeah.
choice of streaming it, but they choose to buy it. So
So how about this thought then? Maybe Terrence Crawford's anger isn't necessarily should be directed at his coverage, but the people he's supposed to be counting on to view him.
well, this is the age old argument that there's a lot of people feel out there that a lot of African American fighters don't really get the same push as other fighters. But I think it's because the guys, the networks, the promoters, all these guys, they probably figure that, well, you're gonna have a hell of a hard time to appealing to that demographic because there are a lot of good African American fighters out there, a lot. But they don't get that pay-per-view following to make them stars. If they did, then they would probably prioritize them the same as a Manny Pacquiao or a Vasil Lomachenko or something like that. But they probably feel that, well, these guys, I mean, we this guy had a pay-per-view. It's not like we didn't give him a chance to have a pay-per-view. He did do big numbers. So what the fuck are we supposed to do? Lose money trying to push this guy? I mean, they talk. I hear a lot of guys talk about business. This is fucking business, dog. You want them to give him a push with what? Free money that doesn't exist? You want him to be a pay-per-view star, you got to buy his fights. It's that simple. You're not going to be a pay-per-view star, or he's not, if you don't buy his fight. It's not rocket science. That, oh, well, the fight wasn't promoted. That, oh, this, that, and the other. And I have one question for the person that says this. Did you buy the fight? Because
Mhm.
you knew about it. You knew about it. Where other people, you might be talking about 10 million people that didn't know about it, but you did. So since you did you buy the fight? What are you gonna tell me? You're gonna fucking lie. I know it. I know it. I saw a lot of people playing violins for Daniel Jacobs. Those were the same people that I saw when I was at work. I was at work the night of the Victor Postol fight. I know because I remember I was working till 12. I'm locking all the doors. I'm watching my phone as I'm doing this. And who do I see? A lot of familiar names. I could cop out and say, yeah, I was at work. But I mean, better still, I wasn't making arguments for Danny Jacobs and why he's not a star now, was I?
Nope.
I don't expect money to just appear from thin air. The money's got to come from somewhere.
And it's a bit closer to you than you think.
I mean, honestly, it's got it, but it has to. If it doesn't come from pay-per-views, then it has to come from ticket sales.
Yeah, and then that's gonna be, what type of shit does that look like when that shit's halfway halfway empty and shit.
Yeah.
So good on for Crawford. Next move, 147. I think we're all in agreement. Even he has to acknowledge that. No reason to, make any type of. Is there anyone really worth making a defense? Mikey Garcia making any type of noise? Does he have any type of claim?
You don't stick around for Mikey Garcia. He's going back down to 35. Everybody knows it. He said it before the Broner fight. He's going to go up for Broner. He's going to go back down to 35. So what are you going to do? Wait 2 fights for a little guy? So that they could say, hey, you were just sitting there fighting who the fucks, waiting for little guys to move up. They're not going to give him credit for that.
Oh, absolutely not. Get that whole fucking, Gamboa fucking treatment all over again.
Yeah, Gamboa was supposed to be a good fight. He's supposed to be a good fighter. Good fight, good fighter. He doesn't get credit for that till this day. Oh, Gamboa was too small. Okay, all right, fuck it. Well, what about Ndongo? He wasn't too small. He's a 140-pound fighter. Well, he was a nobody. Oh, what about Postol? Postol was pretty good. Oh, he was stiff. He was a nobody. I'm like, all right.
And it's always something. Always a footnote. Asterisk. So F147 then, if he goes up, what do you say is a good first fight for him?
Well, we know how he wants to do it. He wants Thurman first. So
you think he can get the direct Lomachenko route? He gets the direct route.
We know Bob's got the ability to make it happen. It's just that when you enter that realm that's up there, that's PBC land, you're going to have to work with somebody. You got Horn up there, You got Horn.
I feel like that's an overstatement, though. Like, I don't think people or fans are realizing they've already worked together.
Well, but there's people that feel that it can't be made, that, Bob's going to protect him. Like, dog, that's PBC land. He's got to have to deal with somebody up there, dog.
Yeah.
Sean Porter, Errol Spence, Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia. These aren't just, PBC fighters, but these are top-ranked fighters. These are the guys that are at the top of most of the alphabet titles organizations. The only guy you got up there is Jeff Horn.
Anyway.
Well, I'm saying that's the guy he's got. That's the guy he's got.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's not unfortunate, but that's the way it is. That's what they got.
But the fact that it is unfortunate. Just saying.
It's not that bad. He could.
It's not, but and he definitely has a deeper stable just overall, so he can definitely get the payback in lighter weights. With like Oscar Valdez down the line, or like Gary Russell, scraps like that. So, that's why I'm saying since they've already worked together, they already have established that we'll pay each other back down the line with any other type of fight that rolls through. So people need to just get off that for a bit.
Well, they just want to rush Bud to 147 because they think he's a top-rank hype job that isn't that good, and they
Well,
want the
listen,
PBC
if
to
this didn't solidify it, like put major Las Vegas lights on it and a fucking flare in the sky that this dude is legit, I don't know. I don't know what else they're fucking waiting for. I mean, they want him to
Keith,
move up to
one of
fight.
Keith Thurman's cornrows in an envelope. That's what it's gonna take. Just one.
One of his corner rolls on the side of the highway, 95. Just it's
Oh,
like undone at the end. Looking.
oh shit. That's what it's gonna take.
Like, oh man. Well, speaking of moving up in weight, Badu Jack faces Cleverly light
Mm,
heavyweight battle
good
this
fight.
Saturday as well. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh well, I'll be honest that I looked at the fight this way. I think Badu Jack actually has it in him to win that fight. He's a bit of a slow starter though, so I hate slow starters.
I
Most
know.
of the time, I really hate slow starters. I mean, you give up rounds doing dumb shit like that, but some guys need that extra time to work up a sweat or get warmed up.
I
Or
mean, when as a boxer, you understand it because you're thinking of like through the long haul of, all right, I don't want to gas out, just trying to figure this guy out. Let me see what I'm working with as an within an opponent here. So
yeah, but
that's how that works
a
out. But for the
round,
most part, like yeah, but in a way, guys prolong that shit.
yeah, like Badu Jack prolongs it. Like if it took him a round or 2 rounds, I don't care about that. That's fine. You could give up the first two to find your range and to get his timing down to see what he's trying to do. That's cool.
But
Badu
then
Jack,
yeah, it's like strategy at that point. From that point, it's just like, all right, I'm just gonna sit here and let him hit my hands,
yeah,
let him hit the hit my forearms and
yeah.
shoulders.
He's like an electric stove. You know, it takes him a little. It's not that he doesn't get the job done. It's just it takes him a little while longer to get hot. Like,
Man, it's like warming up the car.
yeah,
You might have to wait about 20 minutes. Not my
yeah.
car though. My car takes
Because
about like
Badu
5.
Jack's a good fighter. I mean, he's actually a little bit underrated because he's a good defensively. He's good. I like his punches, nice straight punches. He doesn't leave a lot to the imagination. He doesn't have a lot of nuances, but he's solid. And I think he could beat Cleverly. But the reason that I didn't even like really try to dissect that fight is because no matter who wins that fight, I think Bivol beats the winner. Whether it's Nathan Cleverly or whether it's Badu Jack, they're not getting past Bivol. I don't see it. That guy's too fast. He's too strong. Nice textbook, good speed. Uh, Creates opportunities, which is something that all the elite fighters do. It. Every elite fighter creates opportunities, sets up punches, makes openings. He
Mm-hmm.
does that shit, and he's just a young up and comer. I can't see Badu Jack beating that guy, and I can't see Nathan Cleverly beating that guy.
And that's why I feel like with that being said of him being a slow starter, he has to probably get out of that habit and he may just have to find this out later down the line. This fucking dog is disgusting. Just coughing while I'm fucking talking.
It's your fucking dog, man.
Jesus Christ.
It's your fucking dog, though.
It comes down here to fucking bug me. What the hell was I talking about?
Badu Jack,
But yeah,
slow starters.
what he's gonna learn down the throughout this fight, and if he doesn't learn it this fight, he's gonna learn throughout this time in this division is that with him moving up, that means he has a bit more agility than some of these guys. If
Yeah.
not, there might be some guys that might be right on par with him
Mhm.
at very best. So if somewhere down the line, it's going to kick into to his mind that he's going to need to use that early for the most part. I mean, he can't sit. I mean, because what he does, what we were describing as far as just, waiting for it, figure out the flow of the punches and whatever. And then from that point, it's just strategy, trying to walk the guy down, straight punches in between shots, and then eventually open up if he gets the man hurt in between. But he has to be a bit more active because,
He could have lost that the Gale fight.
I honestly thought he did.
I thought he did. Hey, honestly, like I said, everybody wants to remember the last half of the fight without remembering the first. The Gale got off to a very strong start.
Mm-hmm.
Badu Jack didn't start coming on till the latter portion of the fight. Okay,
Yeah.
so he definitely could have lost that fight. And why? Slow starter, man.
Mm-hmm.
You letting DeGale do what he wants right now. It's taking you a little bit too long to figure him out, and I think it's negligible because DeGale is awkward. He's a good fighter, and he's awkward. So I get, you might have to take your time with this guy a little bit, but that's just Badu Jack overall. It's not like that was just this fight. That's him overall. Like, so
And that's a true battle of ring generalship that he probably won't face again. So that's something I guess just to take in consideration. But even still, use that as a lesson. I mean, that's a great fight to come off of to go into a division where you're going to need to, in a way, in the same way that Canelo had to pick up the fact that, hey, maybe I should try to parry some of these shots.
yeah,
And that pull counter is a kind of cool punch. You see a lot of shit that you just pick up from just one fight.
yeah.
So who's to say, maybe, we see a little dimension to Badu Jack with
Well,
this
even
fight.
if he makes it out of this fight, even if he wins, what, Badu Jack's gonna fight for a world title? No, dog. You got Artur better be floating around. You got the dethroned Sergey Kovalev floating around. You got fucking Dmitry Bivol floating around. You got Anthony Yarde floating around. I can't see Jack beating any of those guys.
Yeah, and that yard boy is gonna be a problem.
He's gonna be a problem.
He's gonna be a problem.
So
So what do we got next? Oh, well, you know what? Because we got to talk about it, and we already know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking.
But before we get to that, let's make sure
Try
we
not
take
to
care of the
throw up in your
boxing
own
business
mouth.
first. We have to talk about because we're true to the sport. At least for me, I wasn't even going to talk about this shit, but at least I want to take care of the boxing business first.
Okay.
That's what it's due respect. It's a boxing podcast, so Cotto Kamegai.
Good
Supposed to be a fight. This was it's funny because Cotto was on that search, an active search for a very light touch, but still respectable to get fans to turn out. He had a fight scheduled with James Kirkland that unfortunately did not play out. Unfortunately for him, not for us, because no one actually that shit was laughable initially, and the fact that in people forget this was going to be pay-per-view.
Yes.
This was going to be pay-per-view.
Yeah. Could you imagine?
They were going to charge this shit as pay-per-view.
Cotto's trying to sell you a fight with Kirkland the same day of the freak show. Picture that.
But he smartened up. That fight didn't play out for issues I think Kirkland had. And then Kamegai, who's always been known for me as undercard fighter for the big shit. All the big pay-per-view fights with Golden Boy, you'd always catch him on the undercard. And a lot of fucking wars as well. So that being said, Cotto with the played out event that would have been shit for us. So thankfully it didn't happen. But now he's facing Kamegai. What do you think necessarily how do you expect Cotto to come out considering that he had the layoff that he did? Do you expect him to struggle like a normal functioning person?
Yeah,
who at least understands boxing.
I do. I mean, 2 years out of the ring, what the hell's your timing gonna be like? 2 years out of the ring, and you're old, and you're small, and he's big, and he's tough, and he likes to get in close, a lot of infighting, likes to throw a lot of punches. And like, come on, dog. Like, I like Cotto. I'm a Cotto fan. But I don't think it's far-fetched for me to say that, he could lose this thing. All right? You've been out of the ring for 2 years, man. You look great and he did. He looked great with Canelo, even in the loss. He fought a
Yeah.
very good fight, but that was 2 years ago. Okay, it was 2 years ago. You stand Cotto up next to Kamegai. Kamegai looks like a fucking super middleweight. He looks like a super middleweight next to Cotto.
And what people don't understand is that I feel like, because the reason why I put a little bit of sarcasm on that question, Georgia, because we had slightly a bit of debate with Bo, who supposed to be on here, but he's having slight memory loss. That comes with
He's
old
being an
age,
old man
and he's
somewhere
actually
right now.
he's not actually realizing that we're live now, and he probably is talking to his television right now.
He's having an old man nap.
Yeah. Where he nodded off in the lazy boy. with a head back with his mouth all open, snoring and shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
But damn, what were we just talking about? I already lost it.
Kamegai Cotto,
yeah,
man.
so he was kind of just knocking off the fact that it's Cotto, clearly just going off the name. So I don't get people, like, I don't think people really understand that even though we didn't give much value in stock once we found out what went down with that Margarito Cotto first fight, people devalued it. As at first, it was a big fucking win for Margarito. But of course, what played out, people, and then the rematch, it kind of give it just due. But that's still in Cotto's head, and if people don't notice when shit gets like, and it was actually interesting for me to see him because he also faced it with Canelo. Yeah, when he starts getting touched up and he's starting to feel some of the shots, and he's never been a guy who he has a good chin where he doesn't get sparked out. He doesn't get knocked sparked out.
Yeah, he does.
And it usually takes it usually takes a sum of punches to get him even like to kneel or go down. Really, that's what made that Pacquiao knockdown for me just fucking stunning. The fact that he when he caught him with that uppercut as he was swinging coming off the rope and it went down. That's probably the only time I've ever seen him go down off of like just a pure impact of the punch. But yeah, that monster is still in his head from that war of what he had to deal with, because those were just thunderous punches. And the moment where he could possibly start getting into a true fight in this match, that could possibly set in if things don't happen to go his way, and it might it's actually kind of even for a little bit. I don't care what stage you are in your career, that still stays with you.
Yeah, I mean that's the trauma. That's kind of like what we talked about with Brooke. That when Brooke gets in that situation, he's gonna feel like he's in a familiar place. Cotto, in that way, he could feel like he's in a familiar place because this guy, I don't know that I could call him a pressure fighter, but he's definitely an action fighter.
Yeah,
he's an action fighter, and you got a little old guy who hasn't fought anybody in 2 years, who's been in wars with an action fighter. I don't, I wouldn't even be surprised if Cotto quit on his stool. I'm not saying that's what he's gonna do, but I wouldn't be surprised if it happened that way.
And yeah, that's the funny thing. That being said, I still have Cotto winning. It's not like I'm saying I'm totally picking like I totally went with Kamegai. I'm saying this could be a banana peel. This could a few banana peels down if you're depending on the destination we're verbally talking about. But
these old guys have been getting fucked up out here, okay? All these old guys. Tim Bradley knew all right, show's over.
Yeah.
Old
Marquez
got beat. Old Hopkins got thrown out the ring.
Got thrown out. Or no, he got pushed out, remember?
Oh yeah, he got pushed out. Yeah. And now we got old Cotto. And I'm a big fan of Cotto. Cotto's a very good boxer, but he can be an action fighter when he wants to be. That's part of why I'm a fan of that guy.
Yes, which is, and that's his natural. I feel like that that's more natural to him than the boxing is. That's why I can't, like, that's the thing to go with Cotto, is because he has the boxing pedigree. But the thing is, it was an add-on. It's not natural. That's something he had to acquire. A regiment built that in him. That's, so when you're off that, you're going to need to get some of that back. That's not natural. So the natural state for him is to box, or to fight. And that's what this fight could very well be. And just because, like I said, just because of that boxing pedigree isn't natural to him, who's to say he comes out so sharp where he can necessarily dictate this fight?
Yeah, I mean, this is a big guy to control. It's a big guy to control, Kamegai's for Cotto, that is, he's a big dude. And I remember when Yuriorkis Gamboa 2 fights ago, he came back. His timing was way off. It was the kind of opponent that you expect a guy to fight after a long layoff. But even then, he struggled. His timing was off. We're talking about Cotto, who is an action fighter in a lot of ways. And his ability to box this guy, because we know who the aggressor is going to be. Kamegai is going to be the aggressor. He's got to box that guy. You can't fight with that. You got to box him. Him and Soto Caras got into a fucking war twice, okay? And that was last year. We ain't seen you all last year at all. So, yeah, and we're going to see you close. What is close? It's not the end of the year, but it's close to it. So, yeah, I don't like it. I wouldn't put money on a fight like this.
No.
I wouldn't beat my chest about anything in this fight.
No. So that's why I guess, certainty. That's why, even like I said, I'm picking Cotto to win this. I'm just not going to give it the certainty that I would have gave it 2 or 3 years ago. So
I mean, in 2015, Cotto beats this guy. He goes through a hard fight, but he beats this guy.
Yeah.
I think it would have been a hard fight for him in 2015. I never bought the Cotto is back beans. Delvin Rodriguez in 3 rounds, that's cool. Drain Daniel Gill, that's fine. One-legged Sergio, even better. It was the Canelo. It was the Canelo fight that formed in the Canelo fight. Honestly, said, okay, then him and Freddie really do have synergy, because he fought really good here. He fought really good, really even. But up until that point, I didn't believe any of that shit.
And that's the one thing I will take away when I go back to that mental state, thing of the basically being trapped in the room. Is what I used to call it, where you pretty much get, or what Ali call it, as when you get hurt in a fight. Is that did impress me, the fact that there was a few moments in that fight toward the end where I was starting to think that, like, oh man, like he's starting to get caught a little clean. Some of these are some like really good thudding shots, and I'm wondering if that submissiveness was going to start coming out of him. Like to where, he's not going to keep trying to attack anymore, but he actually kept it up. He weathered it and actually still, finished strong. So
there were punches that landed that moved his whole body. Okay?
Yeah.
But he didn't stop coming forward, and that's why I was like, well, you know what? Cotto's fighting really whatever. Because a lot of people felt different about the outcome. People tend to forget that there were people out there that thought that Cotto won the fight.
Yeah.
Regardless of the outcome, I felt like, yeah, he did fight a good fight, though. He looked a hell of a lot better than James Kirkland. He looked better than Amir Khan. He looked better than Beefy. So you got to give him that.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm picking Cotto with that. They say he's going to try to squeeze another one in if he wins this and looks good. My thing is, take it one fight at a time, because there's some out there that already think he should be retired already.
Yeah.
So, that's
Canelo could have been it.
Yeah.
Canelo could have been it.
That could have been the ultimate cash out.
Yeah, that could have been it. Should have been it, because now, I mean, if he looks good in this fight, I really wouldn't mind seeing him fight Kell Brook. I think that's a good fight. It's a crossroads fight.
Yeah, that could really be a quite interesting fight, really. So, I didn't want to do this, but
you have to, dog. You have to.
I didn't. It's pretty much ignoring the elephant in the room, which is the circus that is taking place in Las Vegas between Floyd Bunny Mayweather
And Conor McGregor.
and Conor Notorious McGregor.
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 McGroinage.
Hey, get the fuck out of that shit, man. What's wrong with you?
It's your fucking dog, man. Stop treating it like a redheaded stepchild.
It's just trying to eat shit it's not supposed to. I'm gonna stop them.
It's a dog.
So speaking of eating shit you're not supposed to, this fight, a lot of quotes to take out of this thing. I mean, there's nothing to necessarily for us to even break down because it is bullshit. The fact that it's even fucking happening. I mean, the fact that Floyd tried to sell this initially as well, you know, the fans demanded it.
They did though.
Bit
George,
like
they
yo,
did.
so listen. So when the hell has it been not been first nature to him to not give a fuck whatever the fans said? Okay, because the people asked for that fucking Pacquiao fight for fucking years, and that was great to put off for as long as it was. But all of a sudden, it was easier to make a goddamn MMA fight within the span of how fucking long this guy was nobody 4 years ago.
Hey, hold on. Dana White's no Bob Arum, so cut the crap. That's all I got to say about that. Dana White's no Bob Arum. You let them use. Well, I mean, there's a lot more going on here than meets the eye. A lot of people don't seem to be aware that Dana White doesn't have a stake in the UFC anymore.
No, that's the thing. He don't even. That's not even his company anymore.
It's not his company. Well, he only had 9% of that company, but either way, he's not involved anymore. So when I see that he's not involved anymore, and I see that now they're making the McGruber fight, it's probably because, well, this is the last hoorah, the last stand of Conor McGregor. And the fans are stupid enough, not you, not me, not the guys in Ring IQ, or any of the boxing groups. Those aren't the fans that this fight is for. It's for the McGregor fans, the guys in Ireland. Oh, McGregor, he's so smart. He likes to wear very small shirts. And he wears his tube socks up to his knees. He's a good man.
Very high shorts.
Very, very high shorts he has. Yeah, I get it. You know, I mean, look, if I told you, George, beat this underqualified guy's ass for $400 million or whatever the fucking, you're not gonna do it.
Listen,
come on, you're not
listen.
Gonna do it.
There's a lot of shit. Listen, when it comes down to it, if that's the litmus, then that can bring Fear Factor back on the map. Then that can be like,
Yeah.
man, we'll try to take on a Corvette if he can running at him 120 miles per hour. He's going to try to leap over it as it's charging at him. If he can leap it, he'll get $250 million fucking dollars. Because if that's always going to be the case, then you could sell that anytime.
Well, yeah, but
anybody will pay for anything if it's fucking freakish as it is. People will pay to see it.
Well,
It doesn't mean there's necessarily dignity in it.
Well,
I can still shame the shit out of it.
I'm not saying there's dignity in it. I'm just saying there's a very realistic component in it. That if you could, if you're Floyd and if you're Conor McGregor, you do this. You would do this. And I understand it. And that's why I don't disrespect it because they're both prize fighters. They both are. They really are. So they're in their element. This is a freak show. This is a 40-year-old man who's small, who's not even a real welterweight for all intents and purposes. And I've been saying this lately a lot. He's not a real welterweight anyway. You got brittle hands. You're old. You haven't fought anybody in 2 years. And then you have this homo and his yeah, what do you want? Well, yeah, you got that guy and his douchebag haircut with his douchebag mink trying to look like Brad Pitt in Fight Club.
He really does look.
He really does.
No, he looks like. What is it? God damn it! What the hell's that movie? Where he is like where he plays like literally a fucking gypsy.
Oh yeah, Snatch.
Snatch. He really looks like
Snatch.
Snatch.
He's look. Dana White knows what he's doing. Conor McGregor knows what he's doing. You know, they're sitting around with iMovie, piecing together. You like, we know what's going on here. Like, we know, dog. We know.
But
They
that's
don't
the thing.
know, but we
And
know.
listen, yo, and we saw that's why I can't even recall if we actually had a discussion on this podcast, but we did have the discussion. I believe at like on the phone of literally how this would play out piece by piece, how they would sell it, how they would market it through the promotion, even all the way up to the fight.
Mm-hmm.
They were going to use that race baiting technique. Floyd was going to exploit any type of, any type of mannerisms he picked up on that he could use. Surprisingly, he didn't actually pick up on Boy, and I don't think he actually had the awareness to actually pick that up. And yes, that's more of a slight to his education. That's you can say that if you want to go ahead and blame me for it. Then yes, I'm saying he doesn't have it. He doesn't understand that Boy could be misinterpreted for black males because he excludes himself from that society. So,
Well, I mean, and it's not. I don't think that he didn't pick up on it because he said something that it was one of the more recent quotes from like 2-3 weeks ago that he feels like he's fighting for black people. He said that.
well, he said that in reaction to what that Jimmy Kimmel interview with the little I think he has like a short little Mexican dude that
Oh
he
yeah,
sent
I
on that
that.
event. And that's when he was referencing Rocky 3 when he said the monkey's line.
Yeah, yeah,
And
and honestly, the
that's what he was
explanation
referring to.
they tried to say Connor's talking about the monkeys and the gym scene. But which gym scene was what was being contested? Was it the gym scene where Rocky's training and they have a mechanical monkey there that is not dancing? Or was it when they showed all the guys in the gym after Rocky then got fucked up and they go to the gym in California, bunch of black guys training there? Everybody, they're splitting hairs, and I'm like, these guys are marketing geniuses because they know that these people are morons. They're all morons.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you talking about black people?
Yeah.
Oh, we're the luck of the Irish. We're fighting. We like to fight and we like to drink.
Yeah.
Like, all right, bro.
It's like, all right. You pretty much made
bit.
a great exploitation of the lesser lights of our society.
Yeah, the morons.
Way to go.
The morons.
So, I guess that do we say pretty much all we need on that? I mean, I don't even think I even need to make a prediction. But I will just state how two ways I see it going down. Because while I see Floyd Mayweather totally whooping his ass, whether how it's a showcase of just skill and he's just outboxing him, or he just has this is his moment where he can finally just fucking let the fuck off, and what he never gave the real boxing public throughout like at least up from since the Gaddy fight. So maybe I say there's either those two of the ways that he wins, but for some odd reason, something has been just itching at me in the back of my mind that if in a situation where Connor's getting lit up or things aren't going his way, he's going to do some illegal shit.
Well, that's plausible.
And
that's
going to be his cop out. And I feel like he'll probably like if the papers read Sunday morning, Connor disqualified for knee to Mayweather to a tiger knee to the face, I wouldn't be surprised.
Not tiger knee to the face, but in the clinch. In the clinch.
A Muay Thai clinch.
not even one, not even something like that, but just like a thigh sweep. One of those. I mean, look, I'm gonna be. Can we talk about something here? Look, I don't got nothing against MMA fighters. I really don't. I think I respect all athletes because that's their grind. You can't tell them guys they don't know what they're doing. I respect it. I respect them enough to give them that respect. But when I think about this style of combat, this is the kind of fighting that on my block, when we would get into fights on my block, when we would get into fights in school as grade schoolers, even as young adults, you got two guys rolling around break that bullshit up. Bring that shit up. Stand up and fight. Fight like men. I'm not gonna climb on my back or on his back, that is, and rap like no. What the fuck are we doing, dog? What is this?
Well, here's
dog.
the thing. The thing that makes this at least slightly more credible than what it is on the surface, which is an MMA fighter going into the boxing ring, is the fact that, and yeah, people are going to point out, oh, well, he's a really good stand-up striker, and da-da-da-da. But that was never going to be the case if that was only his claim to this event. He did start out boxing. He did. Yeah. He is naturally in the sport that he is because of boxing. So I will give. I will give him that. Is the only thing I'll give him on that.
Rhetoric. Look, MMA guys are the guys that say that in a real fight. Look, motherfucker, in a real fight, you probably never even been in one, which is why you're so juiced up off of MMA. You know, honestly, like, look at these guys. Like, you know, I'm not one to toot horns about anything, but really, look at these guys though. Skinny white guys. You know.
Mm-hmm.
You don't be in no fights, bro.
So yeah, I mean, and it's not a coincidence. And let's not bullshit the public here, Julius. Let's not be surprised that the likes of Anderson Silva and a John Bones Jones, until his fortunate moment, are dominant figures in the sport among those types of people you mentioned. So I won't. I mean, to the people that you're talking about, as far as these, I guess you would say, McGregor fans.
Don't tell me that Anderson Silva ever reached the level of accord of Conor McGregor. Don't tell me that John Bones Jones, and fuck John Bones Jones, by the way, but this ain't even that kind of podcast.
No.
But fuck him. Fuck that guy. But
fuck up.
Yeah,
he's just
like,
really, a flat out fuck up.
He is Lucas Brown and Povetkin rolled in a burrito.
what a dab of AB.
Yeah, I mean, like, because he actually talked shit, and it's like, dog, like, this is great. This is just great. But aside from that, they never reached the level of accord that Conor McGregor did. We know what the fuck is in play here. You look at the comments on YouTube. You look at the comments on Facebook. We're not naive. We're not stupid. We know what the fuck is going on here. And at the end of the day, the style of fighting that MMA is, it's not that I don't respect it, but for people to call it more advanced than boxing that actually has an amateur, it has an amateur system, a very refined amateur system. This is a very old sport that has a lot of lineage to it, whereas MMA is a fledgling sport. You guys don't even have a fucking amateur program. You guys let Brock Lesnar walk into a boxing ring as a heavyweight against Anthony Joshua. That guy dies.
R.I.P.
He dies. I mean, he fucking dies. But in the UFC, a guy like that, who, yeah, he wrestled in the past, I know, but that's not what he's coming from. You understand? He's not coming from that. He's coming from Vince McMahon and Shane McMahon.
Yeah.
Kane and The Undertaker. That's what he's coming from. This guy.
He's coming from John Cena.
He's coming from John fucking Cena. Like, that's where he's coming from. This guy walks over there. He's a champion. Okay, this is the refined art, the algebraic equation, the Rubik's cube of fighting. No, dog. This is glorified bar fighting. It has technique to it, but it hasn't. And I've been saying this from the beginning. Yeah, it has potential, but they need to develop a system, and they don't have that. They literally don't have that. You're just taking people of fighting backgrounds and putting them in a cage. It's not a system where you really develop fighters. They just putting fighters to fight that are not developed. Whereas boxing, it has a development system, with achievements.
And that's not even a slight at anybody necessarily who's so disciplined enough to go through this training. It's literally just part of the human anatomy. Is just when you are trying to acquire so many skills, you are going to exceed really well in just one of them. One of them is going to be a real strong point. But that just makes you just subpar with everything else that you're adding on, much like the Cotto add-on was his boxing.
Yeah.
You know? So
they got a proverb about that. It's better to be a master at one. It's better to be a jack of all trades and a master of one. No. I forgot how it goes, but the point is, it's better to be
master of
thing.
Yeah. It was what was it? Master of none.
It's better to be a jack of one trade and a master of one than a jack of all trades but a master of none. If you're really good at what you do, that's all you really need. If you're really good at it. And the thing about MMA, it's not that I'm taking a shot at those guys, but I'm not lying when I say they don't have an amateur system. They're not necessarily developing athletes. They're just making people from fighting backgrounds fight each other. And that's why it's, for people to think that, oh, well, this is somehow a more advanced style. Nah, not really. I mean, one good shot, fight's over. In boxing, that doesn't work that way. You got to get up, bro. I mean, look at an MMA knockout. Look at a boxing knockout. These guys got to pretend they're not hurt so the ref don't stop it.
Yeah.
In MMA, you go limp. That's literally it. The fight is over. You could go limp 20 fucking times in boxing. Fight's not over, bro. You got to keep going. What are you doing?
Get knocked stiff. Get hit with that.
Look at Chico. Look at Chico versus Castillo. Chico.
There was a few of those knockdowns look like they could have just been the ender. The way he just goes down, that would have been all right, that's it.
Chico, that's a tough son of a bitch. God bless him. God bless the dead. But I mean, if that, in MMA, that fight would have been over. But not in boxing. No, you got to keep going, dog. This ain't over. You crazy? There's fighting to do. Klitschko's getting beat up on the ropes. He's getting pummeled. He wants to keep going. Kell Brook's got a smashed face. He's waving his arms in the air like, what was going on? I got the brownie.
Right. But my brownies. I
still got that brownie right here.
But I had the brownie right here.
Yeah.
I had the brownie right here.
Got the brownie. I got the chocolate brownie. Bring me Spencer. I want to fight Errol Spencer.
You guys forgot about my big fat. I have him right here, big brownie.
Yeah, I mean, Fab is doing the funky chicken, trying to stand up. Okay?
Telling people don't play with matches.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it's
and then jacked up Jay Nady at the just put the fist to his throat like, bitch, I will kill you.
Yeah.
Like, I should end you.
He tried to grab his throat with a clothes.
Yeah,
that's how hard he got it.
He tried to grab his throat with an oven mitt.
Oh shit, that's gold. That was gold. That's pure gold.
It does look funny as hell.
And it's like I honestly think it could be better than what it is now. But stop being so resentful of boxing because we don't give a fuck about you guys. We just don't. And that's okay.
Yeah, and we really and they really try to make a competition between no one really gave a shit. We got the lineage. You're not messing with that. Respect to every single element of the combat there is. But as an overall sport, mixed martial arts has a long way to go. They first of all have to establish what network they want to be. Yep. Are you going to be K1? Are you going to be fucking...
K1's a tournament, so
or what is it? Bellator.
Yeah.
Fucking what? There's a bunch of what's the other one?
It's Bellator.
Pride.
Oh yeah, Pride.
Of course, UFC, and there's another one. There's even so there's more. So it's for anyone to say that boxing, there's just a bunch of subcontractors. Well, so are y'all. No one can figure out if I could literally try to go to local MMA fight, and they would it's under some fucking shrinky dink banner, some local promotion from the guy in the goddamn region.
Yeah, it's from a construction company or something.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, a bunch of their fucking
making
labor
plumbing,
labor
MMA plumbing.
union members just fighting each other and shit.
Like MMA, what's MMA? We're fighting for dental.
I'm a throw. I'm
We're
gonna just
fighting for
throw on
healthcare
some
claims.
tap out shirts and some tap out shorts, and we're just fight,
Yeah, I mean,
kill each other, mixed martial artists.
I don't, I don't think less of it in a way that they're not doing it. You know, like I think that they're athletes. That I do. I see that there is legitimacy to some of the things they do. But this attitude that well, boxers are one dimensional and MMA fighters are like fucking flying. No, they're not, dog. Put any one of your flying cars. Put any one of your flying cars with a fighter, their same age, in their weight class. They fucking go to the hospital. I mean, honestly, this is a very concussive sport, and this is a proven fact. The blows you receive in MMA are superficial cuts to the surface of the skin. The blows you receive from boxing will have you,
They're thudding shots.
watching
They rock
SpongeBob.
your fucking skull.
Yeah, like you're gonna be watching SpongeBob, and you're gonna be SpongeBob.
Yeah, like it reverberates throughout your fucking body. Like that's why that's why honestly I feel like fans for the most part really take the sport for granted when they see like a guy like, oh, he ate that jab there, like that. Like they see a guy just going through the motions, like whatever. Like each shot, or like you got to realize what each shot really is. Like he ate it, but and even though that was a jab, like
A
you
jab
got
would
to
be a
respect.
fucking like
You
I'll
just
put it
respect the impact, man.
if Charlo, for example, were to catch a guy flush with that, just a street guy, not even an MMA, just a street guy, that guy's face is breaking.
Yeah, that's the equivalent to a right hand for a really good street fighter.
Yeah. I mean, that guy's face is gonna break. So there's, the fact that these fighters that we see, the boxers that we see on television now, that are professional fighters, whether they have a great amateur background or a not so great amateur background, these are still conditioned fighters. You understand that they go through motions. They know how to deal with a lot of things that a lot of guys aren't going to get. That like, yeah, he ate that shot. You couldn't eat that shot with 3 mouths. You couldn't eat that shot. A MMA guy that you like does not know how to slip that shot, does not know how to deal with that shot, or doesn't know how to parry that shot, or block that shot, or get under that. They don't know. So for you to think that, well, if it's easy, I'll put it this way. The best way I can put it, if boxing is just one dimensional and it's very easy, then why are you guys getting paid peanuts to fight for the MMA, for the UFC? If it's that easy, why not cross over and make more money?
And their stars make what what a what a Andre Berto would make, showing up to,
Andre
being
Berto got paid
carried
more
up.
for being beaten by Sean Porter than Amanda Nunes, the current champion, got paid. He got paid substantially. I'm talking about hundreds of thousands
Yeah.
more than she got. She got like 100K. She's getting less than Rigo.
Damn. So I mean, and that's what we're working with. So when I mean it's more established, that's what I mean. It's a true institution, no matter all the fuckery, all the corruption that's been tied to it. It is more of America's or I would say America's longest pastime. Clearly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even before baseball.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Natural, just straight up scrapping. With the fist only, of course.
Yeah, I mean,
But I think that's gonna wrap things up, man. I'm starving. I have not ate anything all day, and my head's starting to hurt.
This McGregor Mayweather fight's really got you all over the place. You gotta eat something.
Well, here's a real question before we sign off. Are you watching?
I know what it is.
Are you watching?
I'm watching.
You watching?
I'm watching.
Are you gonna order it?
Oh no! I mean, I'm gonna be on my way from home. I mean, from work.
Okay.
I get off. Look, I'm doing a 13. I said this shit to Robbie Doyle, who insists I'm in love with the fight. I said this already. Yes, I'm gonna watch it, but I'm not gonna pay. They're not getting my money.
No.
So even if I was gonna be home tomorrow, I wasn't gonna pay for that shit. I was gonna steal it, and I said that shit. I've been saying that shit from the beginning. If they make it, yeah, I'll watch it, but I'll steal it. They're not getting. No, I'm not paying for that. I'm not. Fuck out of here. I'm not paying for that. It's a freak show. It just so happens though that I'm doing a 13-hour shift tomorrow. I don't get off till 10 o'clock. So from 10, it's gonna take me about what 40 minutes to get back to the house. I'm gonna have it on the phone as I'm driving.
I think I'm gonna pick up some overtime on Saturday night. That's what I might do.
I fell asleep on Lomachenko Mariaga. Don't think I'm gonna scratch my skin off to watch this fucking shit show. Like, no, dog. Like,
and I will actively, if I do come across the stream, I will be the advocate for not paying for. I will post that everywhere I possibly can. If any streams go down, I will make sure
the Facebook feds find out and then they fuck with it. You see?
Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. They can keep trying to shut them down. I'll keep sharing them. I will be a true advocate for anyone to make sure they don't pay for this shit.
If you were gonna steal a fight, this is the one.
Are you kidding me, man? Any schmuck that pays $100 for this bullshit, you know what? They deserve to have their money taken.
They could have gave me that $100 to watch me fight a head cold.
They could have paid me $100 to watch me watch Cotto Kamegai.
Yeah. Like, you watching this?
It's like, all right, you're gonna just sit right there. I'm gonna just watch this.
Want some water?
Right? You good? You want any snacks or nothing? No, you straight? All right, cool. So thanks for that money, man. I don't know what the fuck you were thinking.
I don't know. You were about to spend that on
man.
McGregor?
Pretty good fight, right? Like, it's funny how this played out. Oh shit, right? Isn't it crazy? Because I actually thought could have possibly lost this fight. It's funny that this is happening right now.
This is a really good fight. Eat some Chex Mix. Don't even make any popcorn.
Oh my god. Right? Or put some Chex Mix in the oven, like you're fucking like your old bitches. Some old biddies with the hot Chex Mix.
Hell of a fight. Jesus. Biting right down on some Chex Mix.
Oh man. That being said, we're gonna trail the fuck out of here. G.Alé 6 on Instagram, George Ale Dampier on Facebook is where you can find me most. Was my most activity on Ring IQ and UK Boxing Group. Shout out to the Movement Boxing, Pound for Pound podcast. All you guys out there doing big things. Ring IQ memes, of course, keeping shit lighthearted and in a good mood as always. And just fucking overall Ring IQ YouTube channel rocking and rolling as always. So J Fox, take us out of here. You get the final word.
Oh, well, the final word is you know, tomorrow's gonna be here, and then Sunday morning's gonna get here, and that's that. Really, I mean, like I said, I don't give a fuck. I don't like. What am I? You know, like what? Is there a fight this weekend? Which one? Cotto Kamegai. Oh yeah, that's a good fight. That's how I feel right now. That's just like okay, indifferent. I'm not mad at anybody. Get your money.
It's really what because they're already starting already. It's just the conversations from like really casual.
Oh yeah,
fans that I'll have to see on Monday or Sunday. They're like, "Oh my god, that fight, man! Did you watch it? It was kind of crazy. Like I didn't think. Like yeah, I know.
Oh, everybody I know keeps talking to me about like, what do you think? Like, do you think he's got a? No, I don't think.
Think he's got a shot? No.
The last 2 weeks, every time I go to, what do you think about the fight? You think Connor? I think you know, you don't just decide to start boxing. If you don't believe me, just you know, decide to start boxing and see what happens.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, go pro tomorrow and tell me how that works out for you.
Go get your boxing license, and then you'll know what Connor knows. Okay.
Right, you look like that fucking South Park, that South Park little clip of like the boxer just fucking up the old lady.
Yeah,
or like no, yeah, it was like the singing, like the singing Japanese lady.
You remember when Homer fought Drederick Tatum, the simplest version of Mike? It's like that.
Yeah, like, Mike Tyson.
Yeah, you know,
just fucking eating shots. Yeah, but yeah, that's freak circumstance, of course. But other than that, like I said, we're out of here. I'm fucking starving.
Better go eat
Till
something.
next week. Peace, folks.
Peace.